Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, is a neurodevelopmental condition characterized by persistent challenges in social interaction, communication, and restricted or repetitive behaviors. According to CDC data, about 1 in 31 children, which is about 3.2% in the United States, are identified with ASD. It's observed equally across diverse demographics, and diagnoses are more than 3 times as common in boys than in girls. Autism isn't uniform, it's a spectrum. Visual models, like the so-called pie chart spectrum, help illustrate that each person may experience different combinations of challenges and strengths, ranging from, say, sensory processing and anxiety to repetitive thinking and social adaptation. From the 1900s to the 1940s, Leo Kanner in 1943 and Hans Asperger in 1944 independently described early infantile autism and Asperger's syndrome, focusing on social disconnection and communication peculiarities. ASD was often misclassified as childhood schizophrenia and treated with psychoanalysis. These approaches were honestly ineffective and stigmatizing. Institutionalization and aversive behavior modification were also, unfortunately, common. Since the late 1970s, understanding shifted towards cognitive and neuroscientific perspectives. Pioneers like Professor Tony Attwood emphasized long-term outcomes and individual strengths. Sir Simon Baron-Cohen introduced the extreme male brain theory and broadened views on female ASD presentations. Dr. Timothy Buie from Harvard and Boston Children's studied gastrointestinal issues in ASD, noting that 50 to 70% of neurodivergent children experience GI symptoms, sparking diet-focused research. Dr. Martha Herbert at Harvard and MGH reframed autism as a body-wide condition with neuroinflammatory roots, pioneering metabolic and imaging research. Dr. Jill James at UAMS investigates metabolic biomarkers and nutritional epigenetics in ASD, supported by NIH grants. Up to 80% of ASD risk stems from genetics. Over 500 genes, for example NR4A2 and CAT6A, have been linked to ASD by researchers like Dr. Wendy Chung at Columbia. Studies have implicated factors such as advanced parental age, maternal diabetes, inflammation, viral infections like rubella, certain medications such as Valproate, obesity, and pollution. However, large-scale studies such as a 2024 JAMA Pediatrics review found no link between prenatal acetaminophen use and autism. The 1998 MMR autism controversy was eventually discredited. Extensive research shows there's just no causal link between vaccines and autism. Neuroimaging and artificial intelligence. UNLV researchers identified novel molecular pathways in autism spectrum disorder via Nature Neuroscience. Deep learning neuroimaging models, for example, convolutional neural network classifiers, now achieve about 89 to 95% accuracy in distinguishing autism spectrum disorder from controls. Recent work uses artificial intelligence, for example, Exception and ResNet 50v2 to analyze facial and body cues, augmenting care and early detection in autistic children. India's Pinnacle Blooms network created an AI-enabled therapy framework to support millions of children globally, a scalable step toward personalized autism spectrum disorder care. So, the NIH is now seeking $50 million proposals to build really large ASD datasets, and they're encouraging studies on environment and gene interactions. Meanwhile, HHS Secretary RFK Jr. has stirred up quite a debate by re-examining vaccine theories and proposing some major shifts in autism research. Critics are concerned this could undermine proven scientific advances and advocacy efforts. The prevalence of ASD is now 1 in 31 children, but experts say this is mostly due to expanded criteria and better diagnoses rather than an actual increase in incidence. Early intervention often involves ABA, which stands for Applied Behavior Analysis, as well as speech and occupational therapy. These are frequently combined with educational accommodations to support development. On the biomedical side, that can include diet modifications when needed, treatment of GI symptoms, as recommended by BUI, and nutrient or epigenetic supplementation, following the work of James. Innovations in the field now include AI-assisted diagnostic tools, expanded telehealth access, and global therapy frameworks that are tailored by artificial intelligence, all of which enable a much broader reach. The neurodiversity movement, meanwhile, emphasizes acceptance and accommodations rather than cures, promoting inclusive education, workplace initiatives, and peer mentorship. Autism is a complex and lifelong condition, influenced by both genetic and environmental factors. Modern science has made significant strides, from genetic mapping and gastrointestinal insights to AI-enhanced diagnosis and therapy. Even though there are still controversies around policy and misinformation, the field remains firmly guided by evidence and compassion. Truly understanding autism today means combining factual science with respect for individuality and focusing on support rather than stigmatization. If you found this video informative, hit that like button, subscribe for more updates on major health and developmental issues, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you.